Okay, so now we look at how we can implement scripting into this environment. So I will run our project again. What we have is a sphere, right, cube and a surface like this. These are the main three objects that we are going to have. So we look at how we can write a script in C# and how we can apply that. So the script we are going to type is based on the movement. So we are going to move our sphere based on the arrow keys. So I will go back to our project, right? So here in the project environment, I have a scene and one material. So what I do is I will create a C# script and name it as a player. Name it as a player. Then I can double click and open this into this environment, right? So this is a C# script. You can see I can double click and you can open in editor. So this is the editor I'm going to use. This is called Visual Studio Code. It's free to download software. So in that we can create our code, right? So here I will explain the code. So here we have by default it's just the empty template code. This is called as a script. You can see the extension as CS, that means .C#. So we have a system collection and generic input using environment and then using Unity engine. So Unity engine is available with importing all the Unity basic features, right? So that is the one part of this import. Then what we have is a public class and the class name that we have created and importing or inheriting from the mono behavior. So mono is this runtime that used by the .NET environment that is used in the Unity. So here we have two functions, start and update. So start means what? Start means that how we can start the application or the game when the start is initialized, right? So this is happening only one time before the update. This is more like a initialization. Then we have the update method where we can update these items, right? So this update happening, you can see one frame. So let's say 60 frames per second. So 60 times per second we are calling the update. So that is how the update is working. It's not like a normal function call, like when you button click and call in the function. This method call is calling 60 frames per second. That means 60 times per second this update is called. So we look at how we can interact with this script and how we can move the ball using arrow keys. So first I will create two variables, right? So I need this variable, so private, right? So I need the variable called rigid body. If you remember, we have created this in our Unity UI rigid body, remember? So we are using that as a variable, right? Rigid body. So we are creating a variable on the rigid body like this. Then we will create another variable, integer speed, like this. Then we will give 10, like this. So we will create another variable called integer speed, and this is the rigid body, private rigid body, like this. So this is to represent that physics enabled from that game object, that is the sphere that we are going to use. So if you go to sphere inspector, you can see here the rigid body. So we are going to use that to move the ball. So right now there's no connection because we are writing the script and the script is in that environment and we didn't apply it yet. So in the start, what you can use is this variable rigid body that we have created, and then we can use get component. Get component like this, and then we can use our rigid body that we have created, right? So here we can use the rigid body that we have created. So that is the initialization. So if you look at variable initialization, you can use easily like this, private integer speed 10, but this initialization is different. For this initialization we use rigid body, get component, rigid body like this. So this is a different type of initialization. So we need this initialization to initialize when the game is starting, right? So we use get component to initialize. So now you can go to the game update. So then based on the keyboard inputs, what we will do is we will move the ball. So if like this input, so we can call input, right, dot get key down, right. Then we can use the key, which is the key code dot up arrow, like this, right. So this is if condition, if input dot get key down and key code dot up arrow. So if the user press up arrow key, what we will do, like this. So in this section we will do whatever the thing that we need to make the ball moving using the input get down up arrow key. Then the user press the up arrow key, we will use the variable that we have created, widget body dot add force, right, like this. So we'll be using a variable called vector3. So vector3 is a special type variable which is used for XYZ coordinates, because we are working in the 3D environment, like this. Then multiply by speed. So it's a small calculation. So in the update, if the user press the up arrow key, we are using widget body dot add force. Widget body dot add force, where we are going to add the force, like physically moving a ball using a force. So we are using this widget body initialization force and vector3 forward, and that means the forward motion using XYZ this structure, vector3 structure, and multiply by speed, right. So that is for the up arrow. So if you want to test this, we can test this. Right now it's only working for up arrow key. We'll try to test this. So what you can do is we can just again drop this into the sphere. Then you can see if you go to the spectre, you can see there's a player script is there, like this, right. So we have this player script, right. We have the player script like this. So they are showing there's expected in line 24. So let me check here. We need to end this semicolon. Okay. So I will see you back. Okay. So now you can see the error is going, right. So like this, right. So now you can use this script, right. So let me drag and drop again. Okay. Right. Okay. So let me play this. Then I use up arrow key, and you can see I can move the ball. Okay. Then similarly I will add the other code, right. So similar code you can add, right, for the down arrow key. So similarly you can, same thing, you can copy and paste and add for the down arrow key, left arrow key and right arrow key, and then you can change the motion and multiply by the speed, right. So I will do that. To save the time, I will copy and paste that code. So here you can see I have the same thing like earlier, down arrow key, right arrow key, left arrow key, vector3 dot back, vector3 dot right, dot left, right. So we are changing the motions, and then we are going to use that in our way, right. So I will run this, right. So in this you can see I can run this like that, right. So in that, now I can use the arrow keys like this, then I can move this, right. You can see if I go to here, it will go down into the environment because of the gravity. So the next session we are going to look at how we can use the asset show and also publish this game.